Next question. How do you handle a situation where your partner struggles to see things from your perspective, and this lack of understanding is gradually breaking down your ability to communicate effectively? Wow. So how do you handle that situation? Again, this person utilized the word perspective. And I have to keep going back to what I have said earlier. Sometimes it really just depends on how you were raised. Mm-hmm. It depends on how a person was treated mm-hmm. As a child, mm-hmm. And how they have applied what communication really is to them. Some parents may have sat down with their children and talked calmly to them. Other parents may have fussed at them and spoke loudly at them and used, profanity with them. Like, we've all been raised differently, but I truly believe that when we have a transformed mind by Jesus Christ, all of those things can change. The way the old, as the scriptures say, the old has passed away, and behold, all things have become new. And so when you have a different perspective, when you have a Christ-like perspective, then the communication could be differently in how that person perceives your communication. Oftentimes when we have communication with each other, unfortunately, the other person that's listening is not really listening. But what they're doing is formulating thoughts in their mind to respond versus really hearing what the other person is saying and thinking that some people like to quote unquote over communicate. Mm-hmm. And when someone is quote unquote an over communicator, the other person that's on the receiving end mm-hmm. is tired. Mm-hmm. It's just tired. And that could be one of the reasons why they are struggling in understanding your point of view or seeing things from your perspective, is because they may feel like, well, you always have a different perspective. And yeah, we all are sometimes going to have a different perspective. But I think also just going back to what you were saying, like, we have to have a mutual respect for each other and how we communicate and how we do things differently. And again, going back to the weaving, like, if you keep the weaving process going, right. You will be able to understand each other and understand how this person communicates and how this person receives.
Right. And I was just going to share from this standpoint, early in marriage, perspectives, you are two individuals who have come from, two different upbringing, two different households, two different experiences. Not if you're in the same neighborhood, same culture, same city, not too majorly different, but they're still different. And you're coming together. And so in the earlier years of marriage, these are the things that you got to work out. Mm-hmm. Different perspectives is part of the course. It's part. This goes back to our earlier illustration of toilet paper. Should it be rolled under or should it be rolled over? These are part of the process. So if you're in the earlier parts of your marriage and you're addressing these different perspectives, understand this is part of the process. Continue moving on, continue enduring. Things get better. Let me encourage you in that way. Yeah. If you're in the latter years and you're still doing it, what I mean by latter years, there are more years underneath than there are coming before. And you're still having issues with perspective, well, then this is where I would encourage you to most likely seek out additional help to help you identify where those shortcomings may be. Why is the receiver of being accused of not understanding your perspective and why you may be saying that, hey, your perspective is not being adhered to, being honored, being heard, or whatnot. Because there's most times, more than not, there's underlying issues that need to be addressed. So that's for those who are new. You still got more years to come. Okay, keep fighting, keep working, keep going at it. And for those who have been in this for a period of time, get the secondary helps to help you make things clear. Mm-hmm. So that you have a greater understanding.
Yeah, real quickly, I just thinking about the question and how they were asking, like the other person struggles to see their perspective, mm-hmm. their point of view. We can't be so gung-ho on our perspective that we think our perspective is the only way, mm-hmm. is the right way. We can't do that. So we need to die to self, mm-hmm. and understand that, you know what? Your way is better. Your perspective is better. You're right. I concede, if you will.
But at the same time, Darlene, I'm also sensing from the question that there's a tiredness. Mm. There's a tiredness of always giving in to the other person's perspective, yeah. and not being honored in the relationship okay, so my thoughts, my perspective has no meaning, doesn't matter in this relationship. So I understand that. And in those cases, again, there may be some, again, I keep saying maybe, but most cases when I identify these, there are underlining mm-hmm. conditions that are just manifesting itself in this particular way, in this particular point. And I would just advise you to go and seek out those additional helps that be able to help identify those, so that a relationship is not broken up because of the weariness of doing well.